Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at Natalya's and showing you how to clear GR70 with 0 paragon. Now this is probably a little bit harder than doing monk and barb, which we previously covered, but it is still possible. You don't need too many items, you don't need an ethereal, you don't need any weapons, you don't need any jewellery. All those things are pretty much good plus points, so if you do fancy trying to unlock primals on Natalya's before you move over to Gears Dreadlands, hopefully this guide will help you out. Obviously it always feels good to get those red beams as soon as possible. We still obviously want primals in all slots except for the ethereals, so getting them done is obviously pretty good. Now we've got one legendary gem, as I say, no weapons, no high gems, nothing like that. I will show you how to do it. Before we do though, welcome to anybody who's new. As always, thumbs up helps out the channel considerably, and there is a link in the description to my Twitch stream, and I hopefully should be streaming when this video goes live. Right, so let's have a look at Natalya's. Now, as a starting set, Nats is actually fairly decent. The two-piece isn't very good. We reduce the cooldown on Rain of Vengeance whenever we hit with a hatred generating or hatred spending attack. Now, that's handy for the 6-piece, but until you get the 6 pieces, the 2-piece isn't great. 4-piece, Rain of Vengeance deals 100% extra damage. Again, not particularly amazing. 6-piece though, we just get a flat 14k damage mod, 60% damage reduction for 10 seconds after we cast Rain of Vengeance. So it's a nice flat modifier. That means it goes with absolutely anything, which is pretty decent. So there are many things that you can build with this, but I think the easiest is going to be doing Hungering Arrow. Unfortunately, it's a bit boring because all Demon Hunter builds seem to be Hungering Arrow these days, but it is just the Demon Hunter's best skill. Now, easy items to get are going to be Wraps of Clarity. These are in the loot pool at level 1. These are just here for toughness, so they're by no means essential. You know, if you're happy dodging, ducking and diving, weaving, you don't need to go back and get these. But I'd always recommend it. 50% damage reduction whenever you fire out your main attack. Just seems to make a bit of sense to me. Now the next thing we're going to need is 2 pieces of the Gears of Dreadland. Now obviously you just blend shards on these, pretty easy to get. You're going to go for shoulders first because there are no Natalya shoulders, and then any other god piece that you find. Pants is always normally the easiest to hit. There's normally not that many pairs of pants, but if you get a second pair of shoulders, for instance, if you just find a pair, you can always go to the cube and do the convert recipe trick just to get a second god piece. So 2 pieces of god is pretty easy to pick up, and this will basically give us 200% the damage from the momentum stacks. We don't get move speed or anything like that, but the extra damage is obviously pretty nice. Hungering Arrow is of course a primary skill. Now otherwise essential, you're going to need a 9th cirri satchel. Hungering Arrow, increased damage, can only pierce 4 times, but you know, obviously the damage is pretty good. Now the other one is going to be the Hunter's Wrath belt. Primary skills, attack faster. That's obviously quite handy because we're manually attacking with this, and we also get up to 200% increased damage. Hungering Arrow damage on belt and trousers is pretty important. It's a nice damage increase. Other than that, we've got a yellow weapon, we've got a yellow ring. Any amulet with double crits and a legendary gem would obviously be completely pog. We've gone for Reaper's Wraps. These are completely craftable. You just have to kill Malthiel on any difficulty and you will get them. Any legendary braces will do. You know, you don't have to extract your cirri satchel as well. That can go here. You know, Dawn would be handy, Stone of Jordan, Convention of Elements. There's tons of extra stuff you could do to make this much easier. But yeah, as always, I thought we'd try and do it with the bare minimum of items. Now, in the cube, I've got a Rogue. You obviously don't need a Rogue. You would be looking to put anything of any use in this slot. You know, Zodiac probably wouldn't be much use because we're not really hitting with anything that spends. But other than that, Convention of Elements, Elusive Ring would be amazing for some damage reduction. Even a Broken Promises can go in there for a bit more damage. But yeah, all we really need is the cirri satchel, Hunter's Wrath, 2 pieces Gears of Dreadland, and the rest of it will be fine. We've taken a Bane of the Powerful, and obviously, as we say, any of the legendary gems that add damage or toughness would of course be pretty good. Now, in terms of skills, Shadow Power Gloom, this is to buff up our toughness. You know, if we stay at range, we're generally fine, but obviously there are affixes that make things move very fast. There are affixes that can deal damage at range. Spear Chuckers will wreck you, you know, with 0 paragon. I'll just load that up, yeah, completely 0 paragon. So this is like an on-demand toughness buff. It does cost discipline, but you know, it's there if you need it. Devouring Arrow is just basically the biggest damage skill that the Demon Hunter's got, so unfortunately it's in almost every single build that's got a flat modifier. Just use it. Vengeance Dark Heart, again this is here for 40% damage, 50% toughness. You've got nowhere near perma uptime on this because obviously you need to roll for cooldown. Initially you need Dawn, we don't have one, but it is still there. It is extra damage, it is, you know, damage reduction, so again just spam it. You know, manage the Shadow Power, manage the Vengeance, manage the 2 cheat deaths that you have, you know, to try and keep yourself alive. Prep Invig is here for discipline, so you can pop it, and it is basically instantly restores discipline. We're going to be using a Vault Tumble to get around the map and to avoid any projectiles. So when we teleport, if we do it again within 6 seconds, it only costs half the amount of discipline. And then obviously it resets and it costs full discipline, and then you get the half off again. And then obviously Rain of Vengeance we do need. We've gone for the freeze rune here, Flying Strike. It looks really cool actually. You get these like kind of winged things that come down, like, and just do an AoE freeze. Again, that can come in clutch, can save your life. Obviously Juggernaut will just go, whatever. Come for steady aim, so if there's nothing around within 10 yards, 20% damage just means that we can hit hard. If we can get ourselves, you know, more than 10, I mean 10 yards in this game's not very big, so provided you're not like jumping in the middle of stuff, you should get 20% more damage. Perfectionist, a bit of toughness because obviously it buffs up our armor and also our all res, but it also takes 10% off the Shadow Power and Vault, you know, which I just thought was kind of handy. Archery is here just for a bit more crit chance, for a bit more damage. I didn't really test anything else out. I'm not sure if Colour of the Week works with the freeze. I assume it probably does, so you might be able to pick that for a bit more damage. We've also got, what is it, Ambush. You know, again, that would be a bit more damage to enemies above 75% health. And then finally, last passive is Awareness for a cheat death. Now, you will rely on it because obviously with no Paragon, always with these 70 builds, we are pretty squishy. Again, similar to the Monk one, I would take the Templar early. The heal is pretty nice, but I've just been lazy, not re-geared up a follower, so we're using the Scoundrel. The only thing of major importance is make sure you take the cheat death, whichever follower you go with, because otherwise you will get squished with no Paragon. Yeah, I think that covers the skills, passives. So what order would I go to build this? Well, I probably would make a level 1 Demon Hunter when I got to 70 and get the Wraps of Clarity. I personally do think it's worth it. 50% damage reduction, even when you're doing your 2 and 4 piece journey, will be handy because you get no toughness in that. You only get the toughness in the 6 piece, so the Wraps of Clarity are going to be very big for you to get that 50% damage reduction. After that, I would then move on to getting it, you know, a couple of god pieces, so shoulders and also the trousers. So you can maybe do that second. It's a bit of a toss-up between whether you go for that or the cirri satchel. The modifier on here is bigger, but it's probably a little bit easier possibly to get the 2 god pieces. But I think if it was me, I'd do 1 Wraps of Clarity with blood shards, 2 the cirri satchel, 3 then I'd go for the god pieces, and then 4 finally I'd go for Hunter's Wrath. Now, because we don't have any weapons, we don't have any jewelry, I would also probably spend my DBs on trying to get a cirri satchel. It's just such a huge modifier. You may as well. I think you get better value using your Death's Breaths early on this item rather than, let's say, trying to hit a Dawn, you know, with a legendary hand crossbow. So I'd spend my DBs on that. I mean, probably if it was on season, I probably would fill this out with a legendary weapon. I mean, fingers crossed you find an Ethereal and you can just slap that on. Any Ethereal will work, obviously. You don't need a specific power. Again, Ring would be a good one to upgrade. Fingers crossed you get something for damage or toughness. The belt can be tricky, so again, don't be afraid to spend DBs on it. So again, DBs, probably 1 cirri satchel. Maybe I'd treat myself Maybe I'd treat myself to a crossbow, but then I'd be looking to get this belt as soon as possible, and then maybe fill out the jewellery. But you get the ring with nats, you know, you get the weapon with nats, so it is kind of handy, really. But yeah, that is kind of how I'd build it. Now, obviously, if you get lucky and you find yourself a load of god pieces, you can just literally put Natalya's in the bin. 6-piece Gears of Dreadlands will absolutely poop all over Natalya's, but at the end of the day, 6 pieces is going to be a little bit, not of a struggle to find, but you'll probably be able to set this up faster than going for 6 pieces of Gears of Dreadlands. But play that by ear, by all means, jump all over the Gears of Dreadlands as soon as you can. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's what I would be doing in terms of building Demon Hunter. It's a really solid start. I think it's probably one of the fastest. You know, I mean, realistically, you probably should be picking DH, Monk, or Barb next season to start off. They're all going to be fairly powerful pretty early on. Yeah, so looking forward to season 24. That is the guide. If you have any questions, stick them in the comments. As always, it's very nice for people to stick around to the end of the video. It does make me feel kind of nice that people watch them. Thanks again to anyone who supported. Thanks to all the Twitch subs. I'll be back with some more guides just as soon as I can. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.